Good morning. How are you all today? Good. That was a really nice opening vision of the future. Thank you, Ian. That was really nice. I took away a whole bunch of ideas from there, what to do and what not to do. Before I get into it, let me welcome you all. Thank you for spending time with us. I want to particularly call out our customers and partners who are here, especially some of our customers who are presenting today, starting with Comcast, and then with Northern Trust, and then finally with Land's End. So thank you very much. A hand for them. I also want to particularly welcome our partners. I especially call out 3 partners who have worked with us and we work with them to deliver great solutions to our customers. Starting with Cisco, who's our strongest partner. So thank you, Cisco, for being here. And then 2 other partners that we're working very, very closely with now and hope to deliver great solutions as we build the partnership. That's Avaya and Amazon. Thank you. So let's get to business. 5 years from now, we're going to have all these great things. We're going to have AI working closely with humans. We'll have jobs that won't quite look the same as they do today. We'll have organizations that will be far more flexible, yet human emotions will be ever more important. That's what I got from Ian's vision, which has a lot of truth to it in my mind, because it speaks to the need in us all to consider ourselves as the center of human endeavor. Right? We believe that the world will continue to revolve around us. It should. And yet, interestingly, what we see with technology is that technology drives change in ways that are quite unpredictable. And so there is always this kind of jostling between human interest, our needs, and technology shaping our future in good ways and sometimes in unintended ways. And our job, and your job as leaders in your organizations, is to harness the power of technology to deliver those human experiences while addressing the needs of your business. And we've been doing this, working with you in your teams for some time now, and I want to make sure that we acknowledge the progress we have made over the last year. And just share with you some of the things that we, working with you, have done that we are very proud of. So in the last year, we connected a whole bunch of new dots. To us, dots are capabilities. Capabilities in our solution, capabilities in your organization, when brought together in interesting, meaningful ways to deliver value that you are looking to drive in your business. When we do that with our solution, we drive adoption in your organization of our solution. We deliver value in your organizations. And as a result, we get growth in our business. And that we did. Last year, our SaaS business grew by 37% year over year, which was quite nice. But that was done on the foundation of driving customer success and adoption. And Ian talked about the fact that customer success is a nebulous term. To us, it's a very simple idea. Are you, our customers, getting quick, easy value from our solutions? Are you using our solutions with enthusiasm? Are you adopting our solutions as quickly as you can? That's what customer success is for us. The result of that, hopefully, is that you continue to work with us and we continue to serve you in more meaningful ways. So the foundation of customer success from our standpoint is enthusiastic client adoption. That's what we're driving for. And we believe that the more we can do to deliver quick, easy value to you, the more you will adopt what we are trying to serve you with. The third thing, which we feel very good about, is the way we have enhanced and grown our partner ecosystem. Over the last year, we have strengthened our partnership with contact center technology partners like Cisco and their partners. And we have developed the two new partnerships and strengthened both with Avaya and with Amazon. And what we are trying to do here is take our differentiated capabilities that we are particularly good at, which is digital-first customer engagement, and meld that as nicely as we can with strong capabilities that our partners provide around voice-based customer contact. And the easier we can make that connection, we hope and expect that it's going to be easier for you with your investments in voice technologies and in looking at migrating to the new world, that we can make that path easier for you to deliver that quick value. And the last piece that we are really excited about, which is what I want to spend a lot of time talking about, is the fact that we've been able to accelerate the rate at which we can deliver new solutions, new capabilities on our platform. And that's something we have worked on diligently for a long time. We continue to believe that technology is the basis of delivering great experiences laid over with process, with expertise, with emotion, with behavior, with design, but the foundation is still good technology. It's the invisible layer that makes all this possible for us to deliver the value. So, if we think about what we feel we are doing and what the market, in this case, and I know Forrester, we work with very closely. We also work very closely with Gartner. Gartner's assessment of eGain last year, which is a nice validation for us, was that we deliver value for money. Interestingly, we were the only ones highlighted as a provider that delivers value for money. We take that as a good compliment. We are very proud that that's something we are being seen as. For us, delivering value to your business is about looking at the stakeholders in your organization, the 4 big stakeholders. It starts with your end customers, of course. Your end customers are the reason for you to be. Delivering the value for them with our customer engagement capabilities deployed in your environment is the final mission. But to do that, you have to, as Ian said, make sure that your advisors and your agents have the right capabilities so they can do a good job, that they can enjoy the work they're doing, that they can feel inspired and enabled. And so we are doing that. And behind them are the 2 groups, the business, of which many of you are leaders, and the technology team, which sometimes invisible but always critical, so that these 2 groups can make the changes and adopt innovation easily in order to enable your agents and thereby your customers. So, value for money is a great thing for us to drive for. It's built out of what we are doing in terms of capabilities and solutions for these 4 stakeholders. The customer is always the final goal. The agent must be part of that journey because you need to bring the 2 along. And you, as leaders of business and technology, must have your teams be empowered so they can do this job easily, safely, quickly. We're very pleased about that progress we have made over the last year and the fact that we are seeing that being reflected in the marketplace. One last word before we move on to what I see as trends in the market, very similar to what Ian talks about, but Ian's looking at it 5 to 6 years out. I'm looking at it 2 to 3 years out. And that is our innovation, our product strategy does not live in a vacuum. It lives within the ecosystem of you, our customers and partners. What we build comes out of what we hear from you. What you like, what you miss, what you want, and how we can serve those. So whatever you're going to hear from us in terms of new things that we are announcing this day are a result of all of your contribution, all of your cooperation and collaboration with us. So I thank you for that. So the trends are not revolutionary, but the trends are consistent. Starts with the customer. Time is the most valuable commodity for all of us as consumers. We want our time to do what we want to do. When we are engaging in a customer service interaction with a business that is serving us, we want to be done quickly, correctly, and get out of there. Time is the number one ask, according to a Forrester study from consumers. And we see that all the time. If you can deliver a response, an answer to a customer quickly, correctly, and easily, then situation specific, of course, along the lines of what Ian said, you don't want to do it in an emotionally fraught situation, but for a vast majority of customer interactions, if you can do something quickly, correctly, and easily, then that's preferable for a customer. The second thing that customers, and we all see that, are really struggling with now is complexity of choice. There's so much choice out there in whatever you look to consume. And this you all must see. We see it all the time. As consumers, I see it. I want to be guided to the best choice. I do not want to worry about all the detail of how my furniture is going to arrive at my house, in how many pieces, and when does the person who comes to assemble it, when does that person show up? All that detail needs to be somehow taken care of. Complexity and choice are extremely negative correlations to customer satisfaction. And then finally, the corrosive effect of transactional behavior over time with brands leads to loss of trust, because you talk to customers when you need to sell them something. They talk to you when they need service. And everything is transactional. And over time, that sense of brand affinity starts to fray because it's all about transactions. So there is a trust deficit that's starting to build up among customers. They're looking for the least expensive option because that's what they think of brands as, least expensive options. And you want to build away from that kind of direction and more toward a relationship that is based on trust and guidance. Yes, it is efficient, but it's also a brand that is associated with value and help. So, what are the things that we believe you are looking to do in your business that we can help you with? The first thing we see is you are looking to serve your customers where they are. And most of your customers now are living in digital world. We are. And if they're living in the digital world, then you need to serve them in the digital world. Whatever the channel of choice may be, it's not for you to decide, it's for you to follow. And so we, as providers to you and your partners, are building capabilities that will help you follow your customer to wherever they are living their lives, so you can serve them where they are. Simple. You want to guide them, not just respond to interactive transactional queries. You want to help them make choices around your solutions and products so that you can build a trusted brand. Guidance in your customer interactions helps. And then you want to make sure that your customers are informed and updated so they don't worry. Keeping people informed makes them not worry. When they don't worry, that's valuable to them. They see you as a helpful brand. So keep them informed of relevant information about things that they care about, whether it is a service, long-lived service interaction, or whether it's a sales or a product need interaction. What about the agents? And Ian talked about this. All the easy stuff is getting automated. Well, not quite. There's still a lot to do. I'm sure you see that. But there is a clear trend toward the fact that the agents are getting more and more challenging inquiries coming up to them. And it's not a surprise. This is a recent agent survey that was done by Gartner. It said that 84% of agents who were surveyed in the customer service organizations felt that their work tools were inadequate. So, your organizations are already aware of this challenge. And we see, when we are talking to you, you are figuring out what's the modern agent environment going to look like. And it sure as heck is not going to look like the old data-based, form-oriented, big screens of lots of data thrown at the agent as the way a modern agent experience ought to be. So old solutions with a little bit of polish slapped on it will not solve the problem. And that's really what the image that Ian talked about, that complex the cat's nest that you saw, that's what a lot of companies are looking at now for agents, because they've been trying to connect these traditional technologies together, which simply creates more and more screens in front of the agent. He talked about 20 screens. The average that Gartner talks about is between 7 and 8 screens in front of the agent today when they're responding to customers. And I'm sure your groups, your organizations have something similar. Old solutions are not necessarily going to work in the new world. So, the thing you want to keep in mind is your customer service team members, your so-called agents, who are now turning to be advisors, they want something that'll solve the new world problems. They want to work as they play. They want digital-first experiences. And an easy way to think about it is for you to think about how would you consider the kind of tools you put together for yourself if you were an agent. Would you want all those screens in front of you? Or would you want 1 or 2 screens that collapse and collaborate with all that information to present helpful guidance so as an agent you can do your job? The simplest way to think about agent environment is to think about what sort of solutions do your agents love? What tools do they really like using? Will they adopt the tools or not? And with some of the recent capabilities that we have built out with our Advisor Desktop, we see agents who use words like, we love this. This is so much fun to work with. That's what adoption feels like. People want to use more of it. And we can share with you some of the capabilities that we have today and the stuff we are going to be talking about in a few minutes. On the business side, this is the third leg, the third pillar of stakeholders. The complexity and scale, that continues to be a challenge because businesses are continuing to concentrate, and this is a change that has been going on for several years now. That means you're part of businesses that are getting bigger and bigger, either through organic or inorganic growth. And that means your products are becoming broader, portfolios are becoming bigger, products are getting more complex, more options, more variety. The way you serve your customers are getting more and more personalized. It's the fragmentation of possibilities is exponential. Now imagine all those different ways of serving customers. The customers are coming back with questions through all these new channels, and at the receiving end, you have agents or automated self-service. So complexity and scale are huge challenges in businesses today. And the way to solve it is to go back to the notion of having an enterprise brain. A brain that has the know-how in a centralized model. It still needs to be personalized. It needs to be learning so that it gets better over time. And it needs to be curated so that some things which are really important get done and said exactly the way they should be done and said. You cannot just rely on learning. You cannot just rely on social harvesting of know-how. It's a blend. And when you do that, you can drive knowledge across the organization, not just in customer engagement. You start with customer engagement, but then you can roll out the same knowledge out to the rest of your organization, and it's extremely valuable. You want to start with questions, not with answers. And this is something we see a lot of in our interactions with our customers. Businesses look at what they have as answers and try to push it out to their customers. And very often, that's not what the customers are asking. The customers have their own questions. If you start with those questions and then try to understand what answers are needed, you get to a much better place much quicker. And this enterprise brain can capture those popular questions and ensure that the answers are being served consistently and personalized through all the touch points. And then finally, you want to do this in an agile, iterative way. You don't want to boil the ocean, because if you try to do everything together, nothing gets done. And the technology that underpins this capability needs to enable you to start quickly and with small steps. It must be able to show value quickly. And then the last bit is the technology folks. Two things we see technology team members, and we have talked to lots of CTOs and heads of technology. The number one thing they're looking for right now is, how do I make my data in my business more valuable to my business stakeholders? I have all this data sitting in my organization. How do I make it value? How do I turn it into insight? How do I turn it into information that can be consumed by my business owners, business stakeholders? And the second is, how do I tame the complexity of silos? Lots of different tools, lots of interconnect, lots of pain. And what we see happening with our interactions, as well as what we are seeing with our customers, is that a platform-oriented approach gives you the advantage of managing the interconnect complexity. So you don't have to connect everything to everything. That sort of the n square challenge goes away. There's always going to be a need for point solutions, because sometimes you do want to have some specific capability that no platform can offer. But very often, as you think about omni-channel customer engagement, as you think about customer experience that is consistent across all touch points, you need to have a platform approach. And the last thing we see technology leaders now insisting on is let's see the solution working for us in our environment before we commit to it. Sounds very obvious, but that's one of the things that a lot of companies don't do. They go into big investments without seeing if the solution works in their environment with a limited set of data and use cases. And more companies we see doing that now, which is very exciting for us as well as rewarding for them. Because when you insist on that trial, you insist on quick value, you eliminate a lot of the risk of big bets. And to us, that's one of the key drivers of improving the chances of customer success. So, looking at those 4 pillars, starting with the customer, going to the agent or the advisor, and then to the business owners and the technology stakeholders, looking at the experience requirements for all 4 and how we, as technology providers, can help across those different groups. So let's look at what we have in fall 2019, which is our new edition that we're announcing today. So we have quite a few things. I don't want to tell you about them. The part that gets me so excited in this is the fact that there is a bunch of stuff that I will not be able to get to because there's so much we have to share. And you can see a lot of those capabilities in the demonstration area. So I encourage all of you to spend time looking at our demonstration. But I will share 4 exciting things with you. Let's start with the messaging hub. This is something which we have re-architected from scratch. It's a version 2 of our product around customer messaging. It's a new capability that we have built ground up. And it has 4 elements to it that we think, coming together, make it truly unique and valuable. The first is this messaging hub, which is clearly going to be across all messaging interfaces, and the popular ones I'll talk about in a second, that it has proactive messaging capabilities at scale. Proactive messaging gives you the ability to keep your customers informed. And by doing that in a relevant and timely way, you can improve their experience with you at a very low cost and very quickly. The second, same messaging hub, this is the key, the same messaging hub can also serve as an interactive messaging platform. It's not just a proactive notification engine. It has interactive messaging capability as well. So you can turn on interactive messaging, which can then be a dialogue on service or sales between your customer and your business. That interaction can be, and in this hub, can be intelligent. It can be automated with a virtual assistant, or it can be a conversation between your agents and your customers. And finally, we are covering all the key messaging channels to begin with APIs to follow. So, Apple Business Chat is part of that conversation. You can turn that on. You can turn on Facebook Messenger conversations. You can turn on Twitter DM conversations. You can turn on WhatsApp conversations. And of course, you can turn on SMS conversations with MMS. So all this capability in one place, working together, so you do not have to connect these dots on your own. You can activate the intelligence, the virtual assistants. You can proactively message. You can interact with customers. And all of this takes advantage of the back-end service, which is the key here. When the conversation goes to the agent or the advisor, our agent desktop allows the advisor to continue to serve customers in a consistent knowledge and AI-enabled capacity, all through one interface with analytics on top. So this is going to be easy to use, to try, to scale, and all of this works in the context of our omni-channel customer platform. So this is the really exciting capability that we feel will drive a lot of customer pull from your customers. We are already seeing in our customer base, amongst you and folks outside the room, that customer messaging is growing at about 100% year over year right now. So the messaging channels are getting an enormous amount of pull. So by re-architecting this platform as one messaging hub with all the capability inside it, that we believe will make it easy for you to turn these things on, try it out, and if it makes sense for you, you can drive enormous amount of customer value as well as efficiencies on the platform. The second thing I want to talk about, which is again a logical extension to what we have been doing very well over the past year, and very much along the lines of what Ian was talking about for 5 to 6 years ago, but of course, we are starting now, try to be early, is the idea of virtual assistants for agents. In this desktop that we have, our new reimagined desktop, which we have had for some time now, but we keep adding more capability to it so that agents can be more empowered. What we saw as a need was that the same virtual assistance capability that we had and we have been successfully offering to you over the last year plus, that we could flip that around and have agents get the advantage of guided assistance in a proactive way. Proactive presentation of guidance and knowledge at the right point of conversation between the agent and the customer. Adoption of capability is all about ease of use. Is it easy to use? Is it effective? If you can address those two parts for an agent, who, by the way, is working with emotionally fraught issues, as Ian said, and he's right, these issues are getting more complex. How do you make that agent's life easier? By serving up when there is something interesting and relevant to be served up. We have seen that just the fact that someone has to click on an additional button to get to knowledge or guidance brings down adoption by 50%, close to 50%. Because when you are focused on the conversation with a customer, you do not have the mental bandwidth to worry about clicking on buttons. Now, we cannot solve all the button clicking problems today, but we can minimize them as much as possible. And this is one great place where we do that. So what is happening here, this is in the context of a chat conversation between an agent and a customer. As the conversation goes on, message by message, in real time, our virtual assistant is monitoring that conversation. And when it spots a point where there is a valuable guidance to be injected, it pops up and says, yeah, I can help you with that. Click here. This can be used both for guidance as well as compliance. In a lot of industries that we serve, compliance is as important as guidance. And so the compliance reasoning, the virtual assistant carries on as the interaction happens between the business and the customer. And if and where there is a need or opportunity to ensure that compliance is being adhered to, this guidance pops up. This is not just, oh, worry about this. This is a guidance that walks you through the process. The same underlying virtual assistance engine that we have, which is so successful on customer interactions, we're bringing that in with the right profile, with the right depth, back into the agent and advisor experience. We think that this is going to be tremendously useful because agents will use it. It's all about adoption. And of course, what I don't say here, but you can assume, because we are working in this common platform approach, that everything you do in one place, so if you develop guidance for your customers in self-service, relevant bits of that you can expose to your agents, or vice versa. You can start with your agents with deep guidance and expose the relevant portions, subsets of it, out to your customers. All of that will be covered by our analytics, and all of it will be available to you to connect into your backend systems with. So the power of the platform and extending that capability across different stakeholders. The third thing I want to talk about is sort of a step on the side, but very important. This, again, we're learning from you. Over the last couple of years, we've been listening to a lot of conversation around what businesses tell us is a big pain point for them. And that is, simply put, what the heck happens in our IVR? Today, for most businesses, and I'm sure you're probably in those businesses as well, typical IVR systems trap or contain or solve, depending on how you want to look at it, anywhere between 3 to 4 times the number of phone calls that eventually get to the agents. 3 to 4 times. So if you get 10 million phone calls going to your agents every year, chances are you have 30 to 40 million phone calls that are handled by your IVR system that never make their way to the agents. And the question business owners ask, and I've heard this so many times now, what exactly are our customers doing when they are in the IVR? What are they asking? Where are they getting the answers correct? Why are they escalating? The pathways. And what happens when they escalate? Sounds very simple. In the digital world, we have the tools for it. We do that every day. We have great level of granularity. You can see exactly the pathways that customers take on digital conversations on your website or your mobile apps. But in the world of voice, there was a big black hole. We could not see. Businesses that were talking to us told us that they could not get easy-to-use tools that would give them these answers. So guess what? Our team got to work, and we built out this capability that you can see today, IVR analytics that is easy to use. You can set it up. So now, in your IVR environment, you can get exact details on what is the level of containment, where are the escalation points, what's the level of satisfaction, tying it back to the conversations that end up in your contact center on the agent side. Not just that. You can also do forensic analysis. You can visually look at the pathways of phone calls that are coming into the IVR system and the steps that your customers are taking in an aggregated sense, so you can see the flows. How many of them are coming into the IVR and going into this particular solution, let's say something to do with ID&V? How many of them are going through the different steps that are leading to escalation? And when they escalate, tie it back into what sort of FCR and customer sat are they getting? End-to-end analytics. So with this IVR analytic capability now, we have the full spectrum of analytics in the eGain platform. On the one dimension, you have voice and digital. On the other dimension, you have agent service and self-service. And all 4 boxes now, in one place, in the eGain analytic platform, you can handle across those different channels and service types. So that's really exciting to us. We want you to take a look, tell us what you think about it, and then hopefully you use it, and we can make it even better. The last one I want to talk about is Amazon Connect. It's a partner of ours. We've been working for a little over a year now. And we have integrated our solution with Amazon, just like we have integrated with Cisco, and we have integrated with Avaya. The difference is that in the case of Amazon, it's a pure cloud solution, as you know. And as part of that, in the early days, we were working with, I would call them small to medium-sized contact center operations, which was great. And our omni-channel capability and knowledge capability integrated with that was valuable. What we saw as larger organizations have started to now adopt some of the Amazon capability is that the need for analytics in those contact centers is quite critical now. In the enterprise, you cannot live without deep analytics. And so what we have been doing with Cisco for several years, and very well, and we are now doing with Avaya, we have also extended that now to Amazon Connect. So with Amazon now, you can get the same level of detailed analytics on the voice platform of Amazon as you can with our Cisco partner and with Avaya. Now, one of the clients that we have recently worked with together with Amazon is an organization that is looking to move from a legacy platform to Amazon. And what they felt was critical for them was to have the same level of richness of analytics that they had on the legacy side as they'd like to see in the cloud side. So we built out this, using the power of our platform, a connector into the Amazon environment, so now we can get the same omni-channel analytic capability for Amazon as we have for Cisco and for Avaya, just ensuring that all of it is available in one place. And for many of our contact center partners and customers, where they have heterogeneous contact center environments, this sort of analytic capability is vital as well, because you may have different providers in different parts of your business, but you still want one analytic platform that you can use across all these different technology providers. So that kind of, at the top level, gives you a sense of the new things we are bringing, starting with the messaging hub, which we feel is going to be a step change in your ability to serve your customers through all these channels where they're living, not where you are today. But do it in an intelligent way so that you can use the power of our knowledge and AI and virtual assistants. Moving on then to helping your agents, who are now advisors, ensure that they are getting zero-click guidance when and if possible during their interactions. We're starting with digital interactions to begin with. So that's where we are today. But you can see that it's not a big leap, and we are working on seeing how we can tap into real-time voice conversations and be able to inject this virtual assistance into those as well. That's something we believe is the direction we will be headed as we work with our voice partners. Then moving on to the area of analytics for IVR. As I said, IVR is a reality for all large organizations, and it's a big black hole in terms of data. And so now we are able to shine a light on it so you can get the insights as to why your customers are calling, what experience are they getting in IVR, and when they're escalating, what happens to those conversations. And then finally, ensuring that we are serving with our partners all contact center providers. We've extended our analytics onto the Amazon platform as well. So that's kind of our fall 2019 edition. In addition to all that, we also have a number of new areas that we will be showing in the demo, which we feel are early days, and we want to get your feedback on it. Things we are doing around conversational analysis on the digital side. And we want to get your opinion on it when you have conversations with us in the demo lounge and through the day. Things around how do we get our knowledge that you have invested in, built out your corporate know-how, how can that be used across the enterprise in more interesting ways? So we're looking to connect our knowledge capability into tools that your enterprise uses on a daily basis, not just the contact center, not just customer service. And the number one tool in that area happens to be Microsoft Outlook. And so we have built out a connector, again, based on conversations with some of you, our customers, as to how we can connect our knowledge and guidance into Microsoft Outlook. And these are early things that we are working on. You'll see some of those demos today. We want to see what you think of it. We want to get your opinion on it, your feedback. And if you like it, then we will do more in that area. So again, lots of newness that we are working on that we want to get your input on. And then the one last thing I want to mention, which we have been working on for about 9 months now, is an area that I've always felt we should be able to help in. And we have started to hear more and more of you asking us for those kinds of things. So ideas of a simple one. I'm sure you deal with this more than I do. And that is, as your customer service groups, your customer contact center operations get more efficient, what do you do with the talent that you have in your teams? One choice, obviously, is to simply reduce cost. That can be done anytime. But you do have a lot of talent with a lot of context. These are people who are committed, who are valuable. What can you do with them? And the logical place to see if you can do something with them is to see if they can help you sell more, grow your business. It takes a lot of effort to train these people. It's a huge talent pool. Helping ways to move that talent pool toward selling, toward guiding your customers, toward more retention and advocacy is a very smart idea if it can be done effectively and easily. And so we've been working on that. And my colleague, Evan Siegel, after the break, after Comcast and after the break, will come in and talk about that solution that we have come up with. And I really want to see your opinion and reaction to it. And he'll share, obviously, some early feedback and early market interest that we have seen. And this is an area that we believe, over time, is going to merge and meld with service. Service and sales, over time, will blend. Because going back to the original idea of what the consumer wants, because the consumer wants effective, easy guidance. And so the more you can guide your customers, whether it is in service or in sales, the more they trust you as a brand. So I'll leave that suspense for now. And hopefully when you come back after Comcast presentation and after the break, Evan will tell you all about it. And we look forward to engaging with you through the rest of the day. Thanks again for coming, and hope you have a great, useful day. Thanks a lot.